Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Research shows that children do best when they live with their parents, even if the situation at home is difficult. But what happens when it isn't possible to keep children with their families? Loving hearts and creative activities are amongst many possibilities being explored. Children need education to face the future with confidence, but they also need loving care to grow into healthy adults. So what happens to youngsters whose parents can't provide them with the family life they need? Russia is one of many countries aiming to develop a network of foster families who can provide an educational and family environment for children in need. Let's have a look at this example.
Danila and his elder sister got a new family 2 years ago when their parents were stripped of their parents' rights due to heavy drinking. New guardians Roman and Alexandra teach at the Kitse therapeutic community. The new family's top priority was to help the children deal with issues of violence and communication with others.
We must resolve conflicts properly and talk to people nicely.
Do not be too rude to anyone and have good relations with older kids.
4 years ago, Roman and Alexandra moved to the Kitse community in the Kaluga woods, leaving careers behind. They realized Kitse gave them a chance to better help abandoned, traumatized children. That's because of the unique approaches they can take here. First of all is a lifestyle that allows foster families and school to be as one. The teachers are also mum and dad. The community solves its problems together. Together with their parents, the children have to work on a farm, grow their own food and build their own homes. All the work's done together, and that's a crucial part of the therapeutic method developed by the founder of this community, Dmitry Morozov.
Some children are hurting so much they can't help but take it out on others. We need to understand how they're different.
He set up here 20 years ago with very little practical knowledge, but driven by one idea.
It's a way of life, it's not just an education. We live here, these are our adopted kids, this is our school, our fields, our garden, all done with our own hands. We built our homes, we planted trees. All this together changes children.
Andrew Aikman left Scotland 6 years ago to live here and teach English. He also coordinates the foreign volunteers and is writing a book about the methods used here to rehabilitate mentally disturbed children. Andrew regrets that in many European countries, these methods would fall foul of restrictive laws.
We can help the children, the orphan children, to deal with their past lives is through interacting on a very close personal level. In Britain and in most of Europe and in the US, it would be impossible to replicate Kitesh because the law is extremely restrictive on what you can do with children.
More than 90 kids have been through Kitse community in the past 20 years. They're never left alone even after they move on to their adult lives. The community takes care of their housing in the big city and helps in the preparation for university exams. But there are an estimated 660,000 abandoned children in Russia.
Can art replace a lost family? What about a polar bear or music classes? Surprising as it might seem to be, all these things can help. Exploring the world, discovering music, movies and sport, we visit a children's home in Greenland which hasn't spared any creative approach to help the young people who come through their door. Let's see how this has affected their lives.
Umanak's children's home is the world's most northern orphanage. Round here, teachers just as likely to be a polar bear or seal hunter, and sometimes a visiting volunteer artist from anywhere in the world. Beyond the losses these orphans have already suffered is the prospect of their home literally melting under their feet, and with it their Inuit culture. Still, it's hard to find more enthusiastic and creative kids. So what's the Umanak secret?
I see them more as very artistic people who are extremely curious, despite their difficult life stories, extremely curious in everything what's happening around them.
We are using like sport, art, music, films, dance, so the kids can learn to express themselves other ways. This pain, we cannot take it away from them, but we can teach them to live with it, to learn them to express themselves through other things.
Art is saving their lives and taking them around the world. A movie's been shot about their life, Inuk. It's Greenland's Best Foreign Picture Oscar nominee this year. Links have been forged with musicians in faraway Venezuela. Recently, the children were invited to perform by the Smithsonian Institute in Washington and got the chance to visit New York. But Inuit culture is mostly life on ice, hunting and dog sledges.
I mean, the kids have had to adapt to the situation where you have to sleep in a small tent. Sometimes that's quite tough in the beginning, but surprisingly enough, they adapt very fast.
Some of the Umanak children have roles in Inuk alongside Ole, who is one of Greenland's most famous bear hunters. He's also tutor to one of the children, taking him with him on his expeditions.
I think what they learn is to find themselves. What they found out very fast is, okay, we cannot run away when we get mad, or we cannot do stupid things, but then it's just not helping you in the end neither. So they starts to understand that fast, and then they cope with the situation fast, and they actually start to act quite responsible.
34 wards live in the Umanak Children's Home. From newborn babies to young adults, they eat, sleep and study together. In 1997, the home began to teach music and use it as a therapy. A music teacher came from the Faroe Islands, and an old piano was found.
Nobody expected to be so much music in a children's home. There was an old piano, and we started it up. And today, everybody's playing. The music is in the house.
You have to use different things to get them involved, like polar bears, snow or sleighs. So you can explain to the kids that they have to handle the bow like a bear's claw, or imagine that they're on a sled and play that way.
As much as their tutors and art have revealed the world and taken them to places like Kyrgyzstan or New York, their education is dedicated to preserving their identity.
I want to stay in Greenland. I love Greenland. It's my home. I will never move to America or Alaska. I want to be staying in Greenland.
UNICEF and its global partners define an orphan as a child who's lost one or both parents. By this definition, there were over 132 million orphans in sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, Latin America and the Caribbean in 2005.
So what is the situation for orphan children in your country? Don't hesitate to share your experiences and opinions with us on our social media pages. That's it for this week from the Learning World team. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.